Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Listen and grow as Del questions the status quo, encourages you to think differently, and empowers you to make a better life. Get ready as Del challenges core beliefs, seeks the truth, and reveals the roadmap to the lifestyle you really want. And now your host, multi-millionaire, national award-winning investor, CEO and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley.
Welcome to Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. Today, my friends, is Tell Del Tuesday, where you get to meet one or more of our members and hear their success stories. Today, we have a special family with you. We have some of our military heroes. Knowing that we're right now in the middle of some type of a war, something going on, it's a situation where we really, even more than normal, respect that we have people like these that are willing to give their lives to go protect our country. And with us today is Chuck and Laura Watt, both in the military, although we do have some exciting news about some of that. So let's talk about what brought you to us. How did you guys get here when you figured out you needed to do something else?
So we really in lifestyle back in the summer of 2024. I was about a year and a half out from retiring from the military. So I decided I wanted to be a full-time real estate professional when I got done. You know, after serving your country, we love serving our country. I definitely love serving my country. But it comes with a lot of sacrifices, a lot of people giving orders to you all the time. And after being in the military for 22 years, I decided I wanted to work for myself. And I have a master's in business administration and a master's in healthcare administration from Baylor University. So I figured the best route to do that, to start a business, would be real estate investing. And after joining Lifestyles Unlimited, they really they showed us the roadmap to success. They really taught us what we had to do to build a successful team. So honestly, just working for myself now since leaving the military and retiring has just been so nice. Less stress and just more control.
And hearing
Go ahead.
Hearing some of the stories from people like Chris Wyatt and David Fisher, who were teaching the classes about spending more time with their family, I think is what resonated with me especially. Chuck's been on 2 deployments. I've been on 1 deployment, and we missed a lot of milestones with our kiddos, and hearing those things with this, that, you know, Chris Wyatt went through the same thing and David Fisher went through the same thing, and now they're afforded an opportunity to spend more time with their kids and have all those milestones and continue to build their relationship with their spouse. I think is it really hit home for me too.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. The being deployed part has got to be difficult, if nothing else, but even just the amount of commitment you have being in the service. One of the things that's interesting is that the service members that join up here, a la David and Chris Wyatt and the people you mentioned, there's thousands of them in our group, they tend to do well here. And I think it's because they tend to they're good at staying within a structure. Does that make any sense? You give them that map. You were talking about that map. You give them that map, and they seem to figure it out and stay on. What do you think about that?
No, I think staying on a map is absolutely essential. I think the background in the military, it's very structured, very disciplined. You have milestones for everything you do, and I think taking that forward with the real estate investing, you build your team, you give timelines to your team with stuff you want, whether it's the real estate agent, insurance agents, whether it's your contractor. Makes it a lot easier to keep the contractor on their timeline. You get better at signing contracts with the contractors to make sure if they don't finish on time that you can actually hold them accountable and penalize them for finishing late. Because when you set goals, whether it's in real estate or anything in life, I think you got to stick to those milestones, because if one person on the team isn't working out and gets you behind, it kind of impacts your overall goals and how you're going to build that business and your long-term growth strategy.
Makes sense. So you guys have done 10 properties so far. Is that what I saw?
Yeah, we just closed on our 10th property yesterday. So we're up to 10 properties. This time last year we were at 4, about to close on our 5th. So we've grown about 6 properties over the last year.
Wow, it's been a busy year for you.
Oh yeah.
Been faster because you retired now, or is that
Yeah.
why you're moving faster?
So I retired on March 17th, so I've been officially retired. It'll be 30 days tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So you were doing it even while you're still working. That's good.
Yeah. So the last 6 months or so, like, was kind of transition period. I started growing a little bit quicker, and we kind of reestablished future goals during that time. For instance, I'm going to be a real estate professional this year since I only worked for the Army 2.5 months. I already downloaded an app and started logging the hours for that with the 10 houses and managing those 10 houses. So I'll definitely hit the 750 hour milestone that my CPA told me I need to do. And we also have additional goals moving forward this year. So now that we got this pipeline built, our goal is to never have really more than 12 houses at a time because it's management in multiple places. So once we have 12 houses at a time, the goal is to sell 12 houses a year and replace those 12 houses and keep that going. And then use the money we make from that to invest in passive deals. So if we make an average of $50,000 to $60,000 per house, probably a little bit more, but that's a conservative number. We can reinvest that, $600,000 to $700,000 a year in passive deals. And then I have an opportunity right now with a friend from Hawaii. He's a cardiologist, used to serve in the military. He reached out to me, and we're looking into potentially buying a $3 million apartment complex, and he wants me to manage it. So I would have no risk on me for bringing any money to the table, but he would give me a percentage of the money on the back end when we go to sell it. And he's really doing this just so that I get that operational experience so that when we move to Kansas City in 3 years after Laura retires, we can build a team there, and then we can go straight into IRO deals and have already learned any lessons learned for those 3 years. And then if we become lead investors in the future, we've already worked out those kinks so that we feel comfortable taking other people's money, ensuring we know everything we need to do to return their investment properly.
It's a pretty extensive plan you got there. It's kind of laid out in detail. I like that. It should
Yes, sir.
work out pretty well. Let's take you back for a second for people that are listening on the radio that haven't done this before. The biggest thing, the two things that we see, every time I teach, I taught this weekend, which was, haven't done in a while, but every time I find out is that people go, the one thing is, can it really be done? And they're a little skeptical about that because everybody knows real estate's everywhere and somebody's got to live somewhere and they got to pay something, right? But the second thing is, can I do it? That's the biggest one. Can I do it? And will anybody help me figure out all the hundreds of things that could go wrong when I'm in it? When you first came here, when you first showed up, and you went to your 2-day and you started learning the material, what was the aha moments to you that said, boy, that makes sense. Now I think this is going to work?
Honestly, it's you work so hard, and the higher you climb in the corporate ladder, the more you start paying in taxes. And just the aha moment was when you see that the tax advantages of real estate and that compound effect over time, how much wealthier you can become, leave that legacy for your family. That was the aha moment. So they talked about single family, and if you hold it for at least a year and a day, that you're only going to pay 15% tax, which is way less than you pay right now.
Gotcha. All right, looks like we're going to be forced into a break here. We will soon return with Chuck, Laura, and the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. Today is Tell Del Tuesday, and we have started our show here with Chuck and Laura. And we brought them in with you, if you're just tuning in right now. They are military, and we are happy to hear that Chuck just got his retirement now, and he's been retired for 1 month. They have 10 properties already, and they're moving along very quickly. So let's go ahead, guys, and let's talk about what have you learned in your process of buying 10 properties. What do you know now you didn't know in the beginning, and how's it affecting the speed and efficiency of what you're doing?
I think overall we've learned that we need to stick with the process. The process works. I love the fact that being a member of Lifestyles Unlimited gives you resources that you don't have if you're doing this on your own, if you're investing on your own. So there's mentors that you're assigned to, or that are assigned to us, that can help us through the process. We've had to navigate working with the city. We've had to navigate, working with the right general contractors and things like that. Chuck is, like the mastermind behind all of it. And I'm sure over the process of obtaining the 10 properties, he's learned a lot more than when we first started this.
I think following the map is very important. I think they teach in the 2-day seminar, if you flip to the back of the book, you're probably going to do something that you weren't supposed to. You didn't listen to Dell, or you didn't listen to some of the other people teaching the 2-day. I would say you should always get multiple quotes from different general contractors. You should definitely do having writing contracts with timelines and suspense dates and penalties if they don't finish on time, but also incentives if they finish early, because that's going to impact your ability to scale. I think I have a really good insurance agent now, and working with that person, just making sure you have the right coverages and vacancy clauses if your property is going to be vacant in case there's any type of theft. So also property managers come in all different shapes and sizes. So just making sure you have the right property manager that will advertise that property while it's being renovated, so you don't have excess vacancy. So honestly, that all comes down to building the right team. And if you don't have the right members on the team, not being afraid to, let someone get off the team and bring a new person in. But at this point, honestly, after 18 months of doing this, I feel like we have the dream team. Like, honestly, we've had to let some people off the bus, put new people on the bus, but now we're all rowing together as one team, just like when you build teams in the Army, that's what you want before you deploy. That's how I feel with our real estate team. But it didn't come easy. We had to learn some lessons from insurance, general contractors, timelines, making sure you do inspections before you submit earnest money on the house if you have that opportunity. So just not being afraid to be straightforward with people and build the right team.
I was just thinking of a statement that is funny. It's Mike Tyson goes, "Everybody's got a great plan until they get punched in the nose."
That's so true.
Right? And that's really what business is. You go in there, we got this map, we got this great plan, and then all of a sudden something weird comes up out of nowhere. I mean, I've been doing this for 36 years, and one of the reasons I could teach is because I've had so many weird things happen. I could tell people, watch out for this one, watch out for that one, and so forth. What kind of things have you done to streamline your business system now that you've done this for this number, 10 houses and so forth? There's got to be some things. I'm curious to see if you've picked up the stuff I taught you. I'm curious to see if you come up with your own. What streamlines it and makes it more effective, efficient, faster, so on?
So what we do for the accounting, we use the Basil Books program because it's built for real estate investors. So the accounting software that Lifestyles has through Basil Books is amazing. So just making sure you set up your properties in Basil Books from the time you start, making sure you have different bank accounts set up properly to make it simpler. You could have one for all your houses. We like to have one separate bank account for each house so that it keeps it clean. Also, just making sure you have like a real estate attorney on tap in case you're having a tenant that gives you an issue. Honestly, with our tenants, I think there's only one time we've ever had an issue. I had to get some consultation with a real estate attorney, but just having them in your back pocket. Setting goals too. Like when you're building your team, everyone has to be on the same page. The real estate agent, the lenders, the general contractors, because if your goal is to do, say, 12 houses a year and you're trying to do 3 at a time, that means you only have 4 months to finish each house. So if they think they can take 6 or 7 months on a house, then it's gonna impact your goals. So honestly, just the clear communication and expectations from your real estate agent, from your general contractors, your insurance folks, your hard money lenders, your refinance lenders, and your CPA. I think when everyone's on the same page and understand the goals, it's very, very easy actually.
And it certainly helps to bring the team together at the beginning. So when we find a property, everyone is already engaged. From the general contractor, the agent, to even the property manager on a potential listing. So it's really helped us a lot to get everyone engaged at the very beginning, so we can establish those expectations with each property, but making sure that we're not overdoing, like overrunning our general contractor, that he's able to finish each property on time, within expectations, and with the same good quality from start to finish with each property. So that really helps us a lot, is to just bring everyone together at the start.
And then the education and mentorship, Dell, is important. I mean, being a Lifestyles member is a goldmine, because we have to utilize our mentors, like the single family mentors for single family. When we get into multifamily, we'll definitely take advantage of the multifamily mentors, because sometimes you run into situations you just want to get a second set of eyes on everything. So utilizing that, the first thing I do every day after drop our daughter off at school is I listen to one of the education seminars on the portal. There's probably 500, 600 different classes on there. So whatever I'm like going to be dealing with that day, I listen to the education. That's a gold mine as well, because without that education, without the mentors, showing up the case studies and hearing how other people do it, talking about which contractors are good or not, so you know which ones to reach out to for other bids, that network is also very important as part of the team, probably the most important part.
We only have about 30 seconds left, so I'm going to open up a question to you, and then we can pick it up on the other side. Where do you locate most of your deals at?
We use a combination of the Lifestyles agents. About half of them we bought through the Lifestyles Realty agents. They send out the blast. Since we're preferred members, challenge members get that as well.
Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. With me here today on Tell Del Tuesday is Chuck and Laura Watt out of San Antonio. And they currently have 10 houses, but they've got an incredible plan put together to accumulate 12 and then to move off those 12 and do it again and again and again until they accumulate enough cash to be able to go into multifamily. I noticed that your team is quite extensive. I was looking at your bio here, and you gave a lot of credit to, hard money lender, conventional lender, contractor, real estate agents, CPAs, insurance agents, and property managers. I mean, you've got a full team there. You should have no limitation. So I ask you this question. What locations are you willing to go to? What are your limitations location-wise? You live in San Antonio now, I take it, right?
Yes, we live in San Antonio. We're primarily investing in San Antonio just because it's a lot easier, and really the real estate in San Antonio is still growing. There's jobs coming in, companies coming in. There's projects being built in San Antonio. And so we're trying to focus in on some of those areas, but also areas where we can improve the community a little bit, because that's what we really also enjoy about investing, is being able to bring life back to a neighborhood. In the future, we're looking at Kansas City because that's where we really want to end up retiring, and so we will shift our focus in Kansas City. But right now, it's just a little bit easier geographically to focus on San Antonio.
We're open to a lot of other places as well. Well, when we start investing in passive deals next year, I like some of the economic growth in Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina. Looks like Florida's growing pretty good right now as well. Also, other parts of Texas like Dallas and Houston look appealing as well, and definitely Kansas and Missouri. So we feel comfortable investing in passive deals with other Lifestyles members, like the leads in some of the cities where Lifestyles has a presence. So we're open to all that.
On the deals that you're doing, just the single family deals that you're doing, is there a distance that you won't go? Do you have that a range to say we can't go more than 30 or 40 or 50 miles? Is there anything like that?
We stay for single family within the San Antonio area because we already have that team built. We've been doing it for 18 months now, so we're happy to have that team built here. We do plan on building a single family team up in Kansas City as well when we get there. similar to what we did here. And once we get up there, we'll still have our team here. So we'll still invest in San Antonio, but we'll also have some in Kansas City as well. And we might even go to, like, I'm from Atlanta, and there's a presence in Atlanta with Lifestyles. So we're open to potentially looking at building a single family team or IRO team in Atlanta as well. So really, we're not pigeonholed for San Antonio, but with both of us working up until last month, it was just with all the requirements from the military, it was just a lot easier to manage in one place and just having a team in place so we could manage those projects really after working on the weekends.
Is there a limit to how many you'll do at one time? Because, I recommend people move pretty slowly because I'm conservative and most people don't know what the heck they're doing. But now that you got 10 of them under your belt, have you loosened up your willingness to take on more than one at a time?
So we set our cap at 4 at a time. So really, to be very conservative number in this market, you need $30,000 per house. So you need about $120,000 in operating income if you're going to do 4 houses. So we're very comfortable doing 4 at a time, but doing 4 at a time doesn't mean you use the same contractor. So it means you got to grow your team as well. So you can't just stick with one contractor if they can't handle the workload. We're using more than one contractor now. Actually, we have 3 now instead of 1. So I think we're comfortable doing 4 at a time, just based on our situation now and with me being retired now. But using the same contractor might not always be the best plan. You want to be a little bit, you want to get quotes and see who comes in with the best deals and what their timelines are. You also want to make sure your contractors aren't getting oversaturated with other work. We do a whole lot of referrals to people. I'd say last year we probably brought 1 person to Lifestyles every month. And then those folks want to piggyback off the team you have. And if they start doing that, you got to grow your team because their team can't really support it. So we've had to grow contractors from 1 to 3 now. We had to switch property managers because they weren't necessarily performing as well. We're on our 3rd one. The one we have now is really good. As far as the lenders, we got a couple of hard money lenders, but we use the same refi lender because they've been very supportive. And you have to get that pre-approval from them before they'll even give you the hard money loan anyway. That's kind of the process we've seen. Mm-hmm. So if you get approved on it, pretty much automatically approve the hard money loan.
What are you seeing? What interest rates are you seeing on the hard money lending right now?
So we're getting 9.99 for our deals, anywhere from 9.99 to 11.99. It just depends on what you're trying to do. So some companies will make you pay the closing costs no matter how much equity you have, and they'll charge a lesser interest rate. But then there's other companies that'll charge a little bit higher interest rate for the interest only, but they'll roll the closing cost in and they'll give you your earnest money back. So then your actual cash out of pocket is pretty much the inspection fee and the appraisal if you do it right, which comes out to about $1,000. So if you can get in these deals for $1,000 in 3 to 4 months holding costs, if you get good enough deals, you can get in these deals for actually about $5,000 out of pocket. And our average equity capture on these deals is about 75 to 80,000. So it's
no kidding. It's that high now, huh?
So you can gain over 1,000% return on equity per property if you do it the right way. And
for that to happen, there has to be houses selling well below what they were originally appraised for, what the comparative market analysis for the rest of the subdivision is. Are they really going for that much lower?
They are. It's a lot of negotiation. You can find properties where they say they list it for $100,000, and a lot of times you can get them down 20 or 30,000, just depending on the situations. It's honestly a game of patience when you're doing that. Obviously, some sellers aren't going to negotiate to that level. If you're dealing with a wholesaler, they're not going to deal with it that way either. But there's just with the Iran conflict going on, I've noticed a lot more deals hitting the market, and it was getting a little harder to find deals like with very little out of pocket before when interest rates started going down at the beginning of the year. But now that the interest rates crept back up with this Iran conflict, those deals are all over the place right now. This is probably the best market I've seen to buy since we started. There's a lot of negotiation you can do with the sellers right now.
So what you're saying is real estate, like I've always said, is counterintuitive. That most people think, okay, wow, give me a good market to get into real estate. But the reality is for us, give me the worst market possible. Make it impossible for everybody else to buy. Then we can go in there and buy it half price or, whatever low price we get it for because nobody else can buy it. It's just sitting there. That gives us quite a bit of an advantage.
So our average out of pocket on our 10 deals is $6,000, and we have 730,000 equity capture off those 10. So 6,000 against 73. That's our average. So our average return is over 1,200% on those 10 properties.
Wow. Well, I don't want to say it, but you probably like the fact that there's all kinds of turmoil going on, huh? Just
we do
turmoil.
Rates, because you don't get as much cash flow. We're still cash flowing anywhere from 100 to 300 per property. So you got to make sure you cash flow, but the equity captures are heavy. So we're not opposed to the Fed keeping interest rates where they're at for another year or so. We'd be okay with that.
We've always said when the average person is nervous about purchasing homes or investing is the perfect time for us. It opens up a lot more opportunities, especially if you don't have the knowledge that Lifestyles Unlimited gives you with the education. It makes it easier for us to go in. I mean, it's almost like we're fishing in a tiny pond that's just been stocked. So yeah, it's perfect timing for us.
Mm-hmm.
And these deals are coming from lifestyles agents. They're coming from wholesalers. They come from just realtor.com or just straight MLS through a real. You can find them pretty much anywhere right now, as long as you're patient and negotiate the right prices, and aren't afraid to walk away if it doesn't meet your criteria.
So let's walk the listening group here through this. The fact that the interest rates are high makes it impossible for people to buy, so the deals are just sitting there asking and begging to be bought. But when you pay the higher interest rate when we buy them, that cuts down on the cash flow. So we have lower cash flow but larger capital gains on these deals. Excellent situation. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. With me here today on Tell Del Tuesday is Chuck and Laura Wyatt out of San Antonio. And we've discussed that they have a fantastic plan. They've already done 10 deals. They did 6 this year, so they've really upped their pace. They intend to do 12, then they intend to change over and do 12 more, sell those and do 12 more. They're working heavily on the buy side, captured equity part of the process, and not as much on the cash flow part of the process. So I have, we've covered a lot of the technical stuff. Let's talk some social questions here now. First social question I have is, do you have a pension coming out of your retirement with the military?
Yes, we do. I do.
All right, so there's the reason the cash flow is not as important to you guys. It's because you got a little cash coming in. That's good. The next question is, and I love this one, is that I'm always complaining that people hit me up all the time that they're living this life of quiet desperation. And I don't know if the military is that type of a position, not because it's obviously you're so, into what you do, but most people, the definition of life of quiet desperation, by the way, from Thoreau, is that you're living a life that on the surface everything seems great. You're happy, you're smiley, you're friendly to people. Nobody would know that there's any stress going on in your life, and everything just seems great. But underneath, there's this undertow that nobody can see. That is a lack of self-fulfillment type of situation. Now, you both are in military. You're both also medical. Those are things where you're giving and giving and giving. So I can see where you might not have that because, I know that if you help enough other people get what they need, you get whatever you want in life. So if you're helping and helping and helping, you got to have at least the good feeling in your gut that you're doing the right thing. But my question is, did you ever have any time where you felt a little bit of that, man, this is a struggle. We've been doing this for so long. We're not around the family. It's a grind. Can we get it back? And then how do you feel now that you got some retirement under you?
I think most people in the military have moments when they go through things like that, have a lack of fulfillment or feel undervalued, and it all has to do with leadership too. If you've got those leaders who really invest in their people, and value their soldiers or airmen, whatever branch. It helps to make sure that those individuals feel fulfilled. I know I've gone through that, especially during COVID. It was very difficult. I'm a critical care nurse, and so we were here in San Antonio during the pandemic. That was a very difficult time for nurses all over the country, in the military, outside the military. And there were points of time when we all felt undervalued. We all felt like our efforts were futile. But we're also really religious. We're heavily based in our Christian faith. And so that's where we find a lot of our value and our will to give. We're both very giving people in very different ways. And this is one very big way that Chuck likes to give back. And then, when I retire, I'll be able to give back a little bit more. But my primary goal and duty is always to be, a good Christian and first, and then a good wife next, and then a good mother, so that we can teach our children our core values, but also give them a legacy, leave them with a legacy. We really want to teach our kids to give back to the community, and invest their money where they'll be able to live a good, healthy, happy lifestyle.
And there was a time when Laura deployed back in, it was about 6 or 7 years ago. We were stationed here previously. So we had our 2-year-old daughter, and then Dylan, he was in 6th grade. So Laura had to deploy for 9 months, and I was raising Dylan and Kylie, who was 2 years old, a little terrible twos. And then on top of that, I was a officer in the military, which is you're basically number 2 in charge of the whole unit. So I'm trying to basically run this unit for my commander. And I tell you, you wake up, you try to do something to clear your mind, hit the gym, hit the treadmill, hit the gym, get the kids ready for school, get the kids to school, grind it out at work, get out of work, got to make sure you got the kids, get the kids to their activities, make sure you talk to your wife because she's deployed. When she calls, you got to be available. Make sure dinner's on the table. I tell you what, I had to have like a menu for every day of the week because I'm not a chef or anything. So I learned how to cook a few things. But I'll tell you, I'm sitting there going, this is not what life's all about. And pretty much, I don't mind giving, but I was like, if this is what I got to do my whole life, something's got to change. So it was a relief when Laura got back from deployment. But as soon as she got back, COVID hit within 3 or 4 months. And they pulled her up to stand up a COVID intensive care unit at the hospital. So here we go again. I'm pretty much still doing the same thing I was. I would have rather her been deployed than have to deal with that because she was at their beck and call the whole time. So I feel like we were definitely living that life of quiet desperation at that time. So just knowing like there was a light at the end of the tunnel, that penchant for the military was good, and getting into lifestyles and knowing we can start investing in assets and control our own timelines and have that family time back, and just being able to drop our daughter off at school every day means the world to her, getting to have that 20-30 minute conversation so I know what's going on in her life, because we weren't able to do that with our oldest ones who are off in college now. So definitely is life-changing having this freedom.
Chuck, I have a mental structure that I went through, that what you just explained, that position you're in, where I said, I love to give, but I hate when the world takes. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
When they're sucking it out of you so hard that you get to the end of the day, and I just would lay down on the bed, and there wasn't even think about turning the TV on. It was pass out. Boom. And then you wake up when the dog barks or the kid cries or this happens, right? So, hey, guys, thanks for coming on and sharing your story with us all. We really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing the rest of your journey, and we'll get you back on here again. The rest of you out there, remember this: it's not the money, it's the lifestyle. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Want more of Del's unconventional wisdom? Go to lifestylesunlimited.com and click the radio tab. Listen to past shows, hear podcasts on demand, and find out how you can change your life today. The Del Walmsley Radio Show is part of the Lifestyles Unlimited Radio Network.
The information and opinions you hear on the Del Walmsley Radio Show are those of the host, Del Walmsley, his guests, and his callers, and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this station, its affiliates, its management, or advertisers. The Del Walmsley Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Del Walmsley Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.